each of the team would be getting 20 minutes to pitch their solution, and 10 minutes would be the panelists would get to give the feedbacks and to have any follow-up questions. Let's have our first team Meesho. And for Team Meesho, we have Ayush Patro and Ajit Pal presenting their product portfolio. And also, we'll love to thank Roshni for mentoring them throughout the journey. And it's a big shout out to her.
Let's start with first team.
The problem statement provided says that we have to decrease the return replacement rate of products which have come in due to quality mismatch by 50%. And in doing so, we have to provide insights to the suppliers and empower them in the process with more data so that they can make more informed decisions. Like any buyer-seller platform, Meesho has two major stakeholders, that are the suppliers and the customers. So the customers are here with an objective and a mindset. They want the best quality at the least price, and that's what Meesho promises as a platform. On the other hand, for the sellers, they have a zero commission model, and they give them a customer base which are looking for a bang for a buck.
Let me take you all to the journey of a seller, what a seller needs to do in order to sell their products online. From a seller point of view, I divided or categorized the seller into two personas. So there are two type of sellers. One could be informed sellers, and another could be less informed sellers. So these are the manual steps that we as a seller are doing. So we have to upload the photos manually. Of course, there is no other option. And then we have to enter in the product details. Of course, the details which are not there pre-filled, but yes, that you have to write in by typing the product details. Yes, those are the two areas basically.
I would like to invite either someone from the audience or the team or the panelists to answer two questions for me. You'll have to spot the most common issue, and the second, you'll have to spot what are the list of the products for which the issue is occurring. Sid, here you go.
So it's the color that seems to be the most common one here. Kurtis have a color and cloth issue. Even with the sweaters, we have a color issue with pants, with shirts, all that. So everyone is facing a color issue here.
If we see from Ajit's perspective, let's say he has a red cotton shirt, and when he goes and enters the details, what he actually ends up creating on the platform is a cotton shirt instead of a red cotton shirt. That can happen due to a lot of issues. Maybe he forgot to mention the color. Maybe the seller wasn't aware that color also needs to be there on the platform. And there can be other various issues as well. Maybe the spelling is wrong, or maybe it's not a cotton shirt. So there are various ways that a communication gap can happen from a seller side. Okay, so categorizing the communication gap, it can occur due to inaccurate information, insufficient information, non-standard information, or human errors. Going from a seller's perspective to understand the life of a buyer, let's see how a buyer actually buys through the platform. Small 5 steps. The first step is discovery. The buyer discovers the product. Then the buyer consumes the primary information, which is the header, the image, and maybe look at the variants. Then they would see variant information based on color or any other thing that might happen. Then the seller would consume the secondary information, that is size, and the other product details that have been created by the seller to describe the product, and then the customer would eventually cement their quality expectation.
The way you set up the problem was great. So basically it's about the seller. How can the seller provide high quality product in e-commerce in general in India, and especially with a company like Meesho that is making big strides in a lot of our new users are actually new to e-commerce as well. We give them all the inputs, we give them all the details, but since they're new to e-commerce, even though the seller is doing the best they can, probably they are not consuming the information right.
I think from a user standpoint, like what the end user is thinking on, like why this is happening in the first place from a end user perspective, because it is true that there are definitely issues that the seller has to solve or the coach has to solve for that. But there could be a lot of insight that you could have figured it out from a user standpoint. But although I really like that you break down the problem into these sort of components, and in the last the reward part was pretty interesting.
Considering the Meesho's kind of abilities, so it's not impossible for them to implement, right? So that sort of thing.
Also, one more thing for all the audience member out there, if you have any questions, you can put it in the question Q&A tab.
Hi everyone, my name is Siddhant and me and Akshay put together this presentation for Miracle. We're calling it the Miracle. It's a mobile-first micro-blogging platform which supports both short and mid-format writing and an initiative to bring together people from different walks of life to connect through the power of words is what the app focuses on. Why not Instagram? Why not any other social media app that we're using? So the place where Miracle distinguishes itself is that it's a dedicated platform with no TikTokish reels coming in to diverge you and to take away your attention. So it's a platform that's meant for just one and one purpose only. That's to write and to consume good quality content. In terms of the overall design, not just the UI and the aesthetics, but even the functionalities, the app has been kept rather minimalistic in its entire approach. The way it feels, the way it functions, it's all a very minimalistic approach here. We have a built-in design studio. So for creators who want to do more than just post their words, and people who worry about how it's going to look, how the entire package is going to come across, you can do that within the app itself. What is the problem that we're facing here? We have to increase the engagement by 30% for the existing users. And here, engagement we have defined as any interaction, liking, commenting, sharing, or any other interaction that we decide to reduce later on in the presentation. So understanding that people are coming from Instagram, Twitter, apps that have really nailed down the personal recommendation at this point of time. I mean, they haven't changed their algorithms for over a decade now. So even within a day of usage, you're going to have a highly personalized feed in those social apps.
The biggest gap lies with the terribly tiny tails, as the ratings and the subscription fee is almost nothing, and still the downloads are less. Next.
So let's get down and dirty with the primary research now. We might still be at this phase at some level when we're posting something on LinkedIn, which is this natural hesitancy or this reluctance to post something.
I share my thoughts when, as it strikes me, I need something, community where I can share whatever comes to me.
As a product manager, have a balance between the user and the business and product. Thinking on in the terms of why the product or why the company took some decisions would have also been an amazing thing. So how you have represented this solution via designs and wireframes is actually pretty good, and it's very helpful to us. Because we might just be taking some solutions and implementing this.
Moving forward, it's time for Team 3 to come up.
Builder AI is nothing but they aim to encourage the entrepreneurs to build their dream business without experience in design or enterprise to move their operation to the cloud with confidence. Probably back in 10 years or back in 5 years, if somebody wants to start a business, they have to check with the counterpartner or the colleague of their college and wait for 2 years, 3 years, wait for the funding and all this stuff, right? Builder AI is made easy for all the startups and the entrepreneur because you come up with the idea, you just throw an idea to us, we will build an app to you. What is Builder Cloud? Basically, it's a prepaid wallet which helps from overspending on cloud service without having to enter credit card details. It's like a Paytm wallet. So probably you recharge for 1,000 rupees or $500. You do a number of probably a shopping or a normal vendor scanning or whatever the purchase, right? And you don't have money, then again you have to recharge the wallet. That's how it is. There could be a possible person is working in India and the person in Europe wants to pay in dollars, not in pounds, but he wanted to make it in dollars. If he want to use his credit card and all this stuff, right? But that avoids duplicate. Why should somebody create another account for a small reason? People have already come to the site. Let us gather some information. Why should we think, okay, after they go back to the site, I understand we can have a lot of options, a lot of solutions in terms of marketing, in terms of calling, all this stuff. But when they are in the site, there are high interest of getting into conversion.
The fact that people are curious about the benefits, I think that also came out quite well in terms of your new onboarding flow and how you can make self-serve. I really like that.
When we want to know what are their initial impressions about the Builder Cloud wallet when they are onboarding, that is a difficult task for us, finding the user itself.
How do you identify the users and do your research? I think still the way that you've been able to tap so well into your user persona, you could just be asking coders and giving them that would they be interested in.
We have done that. We asked a couple of founders and students and developers. We took some we showed them this is our website, what are your initial impressions. So like that we have done our user research.
Right, and that has come out well. So your inferences from whoever you could gain is pretty much in point with the observations and with the feedback that we are getting for the product as well. So it's pretty much in line. Maybe with more time and effort, there could be a little bigger sample size and those things, which is fine. I think you guys have done a great job in the shortest time frame, and you've been able to really dissect the problem. I think that's been my feedback. My feedback is really that the new onboarding flow, I really liked it. It also reflects that you guys had gone over and above just the wallet product, but you kind of understood the whole essence of what Builder AI is doing.
All the panelists and the guests, even the mentors, are going in a breakout room just to decide which team will be decided the winner today.
Decision was based on 4 factors: how the problem was broken down, and how creative was the solution, and how directly it impacted the problem, what was the presentation, and third one was the process and the research that they have done. So based on this, there was a very close tie, and then we had to decide again. The tie was between Meesho and Miracle. We finally figured out the winner. Winner will be Meesho. So the team Meesho emerges as the winner.
Woohoo! I think it was great work by everyone. I hope you become great product managers in the future. Thank you.